Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November regular meeting of the Board of Finance. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I want to take a moment to swear in our newly elected members on the Board of Finance based on the Guilford voters from the November 4th election. First, I'd like to call up Lou Federici, attorney and Board of Selectmen member, to swear in Rob Federici.
Thank you, Michael.
You're very welcome. Rob?
Yeah, okay. Robert, that's fine. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut and the Charter of the Town of Guilford, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of the Guilford Board of Finance to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Jeff Beatty.
Jeff, congratulations.
Thank you, Lou. Good to see you.
You too. All right. Jeff, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut and the Charter of the Town of Guilford, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Guilford Board of Finance to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Welcome to the board.
So Jeff, while you're standing, I'd like to have Jeff Beatty swear in Amy Earls. Amy?
Will you do that? Congratulations.
Thank you, you too.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Connecticut, and the Charter of the Town of Guilford, so long as you continue as a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office as a member of the Town of Guilford Board of Finance to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
And now, Elias Kabichi.
Congratulations. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Connecticut, and the Charter of the Town of Guilford, so long as you continue as a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office as a member of the Town of Guilford Board of Finance to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate it. Okay. So at this time, on behalf of the Board of Finance, as the most recent chairman, I'd like to call to order the November 17th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Finance. And we have tonight, item number 1, elections and appointments. So first item 1.1 is election of chairman pro tempore. I had to actually look that up to see how to say it. So I'd like to ask for a nomination for chairman pro tempore.
I nominate Megan Scanlon.
I'll second.
Do I second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do I hear any nominations? Hearing none. I'd like to call the question. All in favor of Megan Scanlon as chairman pro tempore? Aye.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. So first item of business is to nominate or to elect the chairman in accordance with section 6-1 of the Town of Guilford Charter. Do I hear any nominations for chair?
I nominate Michael Ailes.
Second?
Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I suppose aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Always a little awkward saying aye to that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say I appreciate the nomination and the election. It's been a pleasure serving on the Board of Finances. I have been chair for a little bit of time now, and it's a pleasure serving with this board. So I look forward to continued leadership, so. All good?
It says record.
It says recording.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Sorry, Mike.
All good. Item number 1.3, election of vice chairman in accordance with section 6-10 of the Guilford Town Charter. So I'd like to ask for a nomination for vice chairman of the Board of Finance.
I nominate Jeff Beatty. I've got a little speech, if you'll indulge me, I've written it down because there's a list here. Jeff Beatty served on Guilford's Board of Finance for 12 years, longer than any current member except Chair Michael Ailes, twice as long as our next most senior members. His record of service to Guilford is extensive and well-rounded. He has contributed his time and leadership to numerous charitable and municipal organizations, including serving on, at times as chair, the Guilford Arts Center, the Guilford Community Fund, the Guilford Chamber of Commerce, Guilford Youth Mentoring, the Guilford Board of Ethics, the Sarah Foundation, the Guilford Foundation, the Guilford Free Library, the Guilford Keeping Society, as well as serving as a corporator for Ascend Bank, formerly known as Guilford Savings. Based on his experience, service, and demonstrated ability, Jeff is exceptionally well qualified to represent this board as its vice chair. So, to be clear, Guilford's charter does not require that the board or vice chair belong to any particular political party. The charter only limits how many members of the same party may serve on a board at any one time to ensure no single party holds a dominant majority. Our leadership selections tonight will not and should not disturb that balance. So choosing our officers based on proven dedication, capability, and earned seniority, not political affiliation, best honors the spirit of the charter and serves the residents of Guilford. Selecting otherwise would be a disappointment to residents and a missed opportunity to uphold these values and to benefit from the strongest leadership this board can offer. So I recommend Jeff Beatty. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I second.
Do I second? Okay. Any other nominations from the floor?
I nominate Megan Scanlon. I don't have a speech prepared.
Sorry, Amy. Sorry.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. So we have two nominations on the oh, actually, no. I need to ask if there are any other nominations for vice chair. Okay, hearing none, I will move that the nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of closing the nominations? Aye. Okay, so two nominations. So we have Jeff Beatty and we have Megan Scanlon. I'll start the conversation. This came up actually a few years ago where there was two nominations. My feeling is, although Bob, first of all, I very much appreciate your nomination of Jeff. I don't think there's anybody on this board, including our new members, that would feel that Jeff would not do a great job as vice chair. On the other hand, I do feel that having the, though you said party affiliation should not be necessarily a part of this, I would feel differently if there was a bit of a split on the parties, where it was, if it was a split even, but because the Democratic Party on this particular board at this particular moment has the majority, I would lean towards Megan on that. No disrespect to Mr. Beatty or Attorney Beatty, but I would be leaning towards Megan for vice chair. So
I'll point to other boards, appointed boards such as Pension and Park and Rec, where non-majority parties are leaders,
Yes,
are
absolutely.
president. So, I don't see the value of political party affiliation. I see the value in doing the best for the voters based on experience, that's all.
I appreciate that. And I know at one time, I don't remember exactly when, but the Board of Education, I don't know if you mentioned the Board of Education, but the Board of Education currently is split, so.
That's true.
There is precedent for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yes, so. Any other comments about any other discussion, I should say? Okay. With that being said, I will call the question for the nomination of Jeff, yes, I will call the question for Jeff Beatty as Vice Chair of the Board of Finance. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The nomination of Megan Scanlon for Vice Chair. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Were there votes on? Sorry, I didn't, I know.
I think you still have to oppose, I think is what he's saying, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you still have to vote.
Well, you got to vote one way or the other.
You gotta vote.
The first vote failed.
The first vote failed.
Right, so then I'll vote for Megan.
Okay. And then there's, okay, so vote for Megan, and then opposed, and abstention. Okay.
So you just have to do,
I'll vote
choose
for
one.
Megan.
You just have to
First
choose
vote
one.
failed.
I'm not
so
offended.
We vote for Megan. Go on.
Okay.
It's unanimous.
Just got to make sure all the votes are recorded. That's
Got
all.
it.
That's all I'm looking for, so, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Item 1.4, appointment of clerk to the Board of Finance in accordance with Section 6.1 of the Guilford Town Charter. This is usually the easiest one out of all of them. I will make the motion on this one, actually, let's make it easy, to appoint Brendan Crowley as clerk of the Board of Finance. Do I hear?
Second.
Okay. Any other nominations from the floor?
Does he have to accept it?
He doesn't get a vote. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, great. Thank you. It's probably the hardest part of our year, except for the budget, of course. So, thank you, everyone. Okay, going on to item number 2, public forum. Anybody wishing to address the Board of Finance in public forum? Hearing and seeing none. Item number 3, approved minutes. We have the minutes of our Board of Finance meeting from October 20th, 2025. Do you hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions, comments, edits, revisions?
I had one.
Please.
On page 3, right at the very end of item 4.5. It says Ms. Perry said that there was an eviction and relocation, but I don't think there was a Ms. Perry at the meeting. So I assume it was Ms. Peck. I know there was a lot of bat discussion, so it's hard to know who would have been speaking at the moment, but
Oh, okay.
that's
Got it.
just the spelling.
Okay, any other comments? All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I would assume that Rob and Elias, yep, okay, Elias. Still working on it. Okay, we will now move to item number 4, correspondence, Standing Building Committee. Do we have the chairman on?
He was on.
I think I kicked him off when I restarted.
Okay,
I sent him an email.
I've been communicating with him, so he, okay. He said if you need him, he'll join back in. I asked him if he was joining tonight. He was like, yeah, I'm going to be there tonight. And then he was, and then he wasn't. Okay. So Standing Building, does anybody have anything on Standing Building Committee? Any questions or concerns regarding the minutes from, we didn't get them last month because they delayed their meeting. So these are from October, and I had them here someplace, October 14th.
I was just wondering if there's the piping at Jones was kind of concerning.
Yeah, the Jones Piping and HVAC renovation.
I didn't know if there might be any update.
I could certainly ask and get back to everybody on that. I don't know
It's
if,
something we'll be hearing about.
yeah, I don't know if anybody, Linda or Matt or anybody has any updates. I know that they're working through it with the team, the architect and the engineer. But I don't know if there's been any update. But I will, that's something I will definitely ask tomorrow. Yep, Go ahead, Kate.
Cliff was at every operations committee meeting for the board that was unable to be at the most recent one. Excuse me, so I'm sorry we don't have an up-to-date update on that, but we can certainly help as well.
okay, no problem. Anything else on standing building?
Speaking of pipes, I was curious about the pipe for the Baldwin Pond, if that water is going somewhere to make it an urgent repair or not, but it
Yeah, I don't,
doesn't
as
seem
much as
to
it sounds like I'm speculating, from the way the minutes are read, it sounds like it's not an emergency repair. It seems like there are leaks somewhere in there. They're going to
Yeah.
do the scoping, and then they're supposed to get a proposal back right away.
yeah, so
So,
it's just a,
doesn't sound like it's emergency, but I don't think they want to wait, another year or something like that. They want to get the proposal in and see what it'll be. I don't think they can't even really estimate there's an estimate here that's listed at $70,000 to $80,000, but.
Yeah, 40 to 45.
But then then it,
because there's the
oh,
70, 80 is what the
I'm sorry, I'm
original
looking at the
project
70,
was.
80, that was, it came in well below the original estimate for the work they did
And so
there.
it sounds like they have the money if the
Right.
repair is needed.
Right,
But,
so.
yeah, I just didn't know what the symptoms were that brought it up.
I will ask that question though as well
Not an
about.
urgent question.
No, but I will ask that. So we got a couple of piping questions. Anything else?
Do we know where things stand with the needs assessment?
I was just going to say, so I believe at the capital budget workshop that we were at, I believe that there was some discussion about that report just coming in, and they hadn't had a chance to look at it yet.
The needs assessment.
The facility needs assessment that was done for the schools,
That is my understanding.
It's- it was like literally just
that
about
they're-
complete.
They're starting to go through it.
Okay, so we should have more, I would assume that we would have more in December after the Board of Ed looks at it, and I'm sure some of that may play into the budget discussions we have for next year, so. okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, but yeah, I had the same question. I'm going to be curious to see what's in that
Yeah.
needs assessment.
The part that shouldn't have surprised me, but still it did when I read it, I can't believe the high school is 10 years old.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Haven't aged a bit. You
No.
kidding? Okay. Okay, anything further on standing building? Okay, pension committee minutes, monthly report.
I
Anything?
think it bears noting that
Yep, okay.
performance, especially recent performance, has brought us above actuarial requirements, so they're doing a good job. Actuarial projections,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yes, I would agree from what I saw, and it ticked up, so, again, from month to month, so. Anything else on 4.2? Otherwise, we can go to 4.3, OPEB. I'm sure the same comment probably goes for that, right?
Yeah.
Bob? Okay. I would.
Good month.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right, we're all set with correspondence, so we'll move on to number 5, review and accept the report of expenditures to the Board of Education for October 2025. Dr. Bell-Stracy, Linda Trudeau. Good evening.
Good evening. All right. So October 2025 financial reports for the Board of Education for fiscal year 25-26. Expenditures for the month of October were $5,913,653.74. Expenditures and encumbrances through the end of October were 28.81% of the budget as compared to 30.35% in 24-25. Revenue for October 2025 was $135,380.36, which includes $698.86 for non-resident tuition, $64,527.50 for pre-K tuition, $70,000 for tuition from Madison, and $154 for Medicaid. Going across our budget categories, so to speak, Both salaries and transportation are in line with the prior year, and employee benefits, purchase services, tuition, supplies, and materials, and capital are all lower than the prior year. Some of this is due to variances in the timing of encumbrances and payments. The warrant submitted is in the amount of $2,517,750.94. So we're certainly happy to discuss anything you want to discuss or answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Questions? Thought I had a couple.
I noticed in, can I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
I noticed in the minutes, there was, and I'm guessing it, the 70,000 from Madison, was that a special needs? There was a mention of a special needs student who came into Guilford because the district they were in couldn't provide the level of service. Did I read that correctly?
I don't think I want to get into any kind of details
Okay.
on why we have
Okay.
tuition from
Fair enough.
from
From
Madison.
another town.
I
Okay.
will tell you that that is the annual cost that Madison will be paying to have a student attend here.
Okay.
Tuition.
Yes.
How's tuition trending?
So I did send the report out.
Did you?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry, must have missed it.
Yeah, I did send it out. The projection that I sent, I know I have it here somewhere, this month is still really good. It's $300,000 under budget.
Okay, good.
So it did change a little bit from last month. Last month was just over 400,000. We had some, so when we have a student that attends VOAG, we pay a small tuition fee. But if there are special education students, we have to pay the added special education costs. And I wasn't aware that the students that we had, two of the students that we have there are special education. So that was about $75,000 of bills that I didn't quite anticipate. So that was part of the change in the variance from last month.
Anything on the horizon in that world that we're concerned about?
We've included some costs for some that are on the horizon. We have two placements that we're still trying, we know they're going to be placed somewhere, we're just trying to work out the exact placement. We've included some costs in there. My cost might be a little high on what I've estimated, but once we know the placements, where they actually end up, we'll adjust the costs.
Sure.
Those are really the two that I'm aware of right now. But as you know, this can change.
Subject to change.
This can change very quickly.
May I ask a question? This is for my own education. I see your report and says budget 36. Is that 36 students?
Yes,
And then the actual student count right now is 26?
yes.
But the cost is significantly higher than what was budgeted, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's best if Linda explains that.
There could be,
She's done it enough.
there
Okay,
could be a
sorry.
number of factors on why, but some of these placements are very expensive. So one placement could be, we have one that's close to $300,000. So while we were able to bring some students back into district, or we did have one student that we had budgeted for that moved out of district, the ones that we have some pretty high costs to them right now. And these numbers will change as we get through the rest of the year. It'll vary.
Anything on warrants? I had one right at the very end. I'm scrolling to it now, but it was Zero Eyes,
Yeah, I saw that too.
year
Yes.
3 payment.
Yes. We have a 5-year contract
Okay.
on, it's a security
Okay.
package.
Zero Eyes is security, okay.
Yes.
Well, if it's security, then we'll stop right there. I won't ask any more questions about it, but.
I don't know if I want my security place called Zero Eyes, though. Just like, multiple eyes would be better.
Anything else on warrants?
There were, on page 4, corporate payment systems.
Yes.
Is that like payroll service, or what is that?
No, it's our credit card through, it's actually a credit card through Webster Bank, but the payment goes to corporate payment systems.
Okay.
And we have a few credit cards within the district, different departments that.
Primarily for supplies and things like that? or-
Yeah, actually, we use it a lot for conference registrations.
Oh, okay.
Because it's easier.
That makes sense.
We actually just put, and you'll see it next month, the high school Italian teacher is taking a group of students to Italy.
Oh, okay.
And we were able to book the tickets on the credit card. Also gives them a little bit of travel protection as well. And then the money that got collected from the students will come back and reimburse us. But you'll see, it's a almost $40,000 payment on the credit card next month for the travel. But the reason we went with this credit card is I can control it. So I can restrict down for a card what it could be used for, what types of purchases. I can restrict dollar amounts, and I can shut it off completely. So if it's not being used, I can shut it off, and when somebody needs it, I can turn it back on, and it's instantaneous. So it gives us a lot of controls on it. I was not a big fan of putting a credit card in the district because it is so easy for fraud to occur. But with this one, we have so many capabilities of controlling it. We've been using this one, and it seems to
Work well.
work really well.
Good.
On the same page up a little higher, the Cheshire Fitness Zone, almost $30,000 in continuing services. Looks like occupational therapy and physical
Yes.
therapy. We go
It's
to
a horrible
Cheshire.
name for a company that does occupational therapy.
Right.
It sounds like a fitness center. It's not. It's OT, PT.
For our students?
Yeah, our students, yes.
All right,
We contract it out instead of having an in-house person.
okay.
We had an employee, the employee was on leave, I believe. So we contracted out instead of bringing in another employee.
So nobody goes to Cheshire?
No.
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 There were two.
I have operations questions.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Can I just ask a couple, like,
Sure.
foreshadowing questions? Okay, so one is to follow up on the cell phone policy.
Okay, that was one of my questions. so
Okay.
Good, ask your question.
Yeah. So what did you decide on? 'Cause-
We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
So the policy came to the Board of Ed from the full board, from the policy committee at our meeting earlier this month as a receive item. We had some extensive discussion as well as receiving a number of public comments at the meeting. And probably 15 to 20 emails from community members, I think mostly parents, some students, and a range of opinions. We had a few kind of act-on items, so to speak, for the administration following that conversation. To tweak a couple of the things in the policy for our consideration again in December. So we will be discussing it again in December. It's coming to us as an act-on item based on the conversation, if we're ready to go, and if we understand, and thus far the administration has been communicating this, but if the administration is ready to implement a new policy for January, then we will in fact have a final vote in December. If there's any sense that on balance, it would be better to delay implementation a little bit because outstanding questions are still under consideration, or for other reasons, then that might happen. So that's that's kind of where we're at. But it is expected to be an act-on item in December, as long as questions are answered and people feel comfortable with where it is.
It does, but it doesn't sound like any expenses or additional expenses would be implemented in January at this point, based on the discussions that have been happening, right?
That's
Like-
right. The only potential would be a small expense. So the policy under consideration, to your point, is a kind of a no cell phone from bell to bell, so across the district, right? So from start of school to the last bell. There is not a proposal or kind of yonder pouches or something like that are not part of the policy for consideration at the moment. But because the board and the administration are looking at this bell to bell, which would mean no cell phone use during lunch, et cetera, there is an expectation that there may need to be additional staff during
Yeah, I thought I
lunch,
saw that. Okay.
et cetera. And so there may have to be some kind of really small accommodation for that. But at this moment, there's not a consideration for yonder pouches. That's not the direction the policy is going in at the moment.
Which would be a large expense for this point of the budget, where,
Right. I
it
mean,
really needs to be planned for the next
accommodated-
budget, if that were to be.
That's exactly right. And to reflect the discussion of the board thus far, while that certainly has been noted that yonder pouches would be an expense, it hasn't been a major factor necessarily in that decision-making. The conversation really started with a bell-to-bell consideration without those pouches.
And then once you implement it, you'll kind of see how it's going and then
That's exactly
adjust
right.
it.
That's exactly right. And we expect that it will take some time. My
I think
colleague
a couple
John.
members of the board, you were going to say.
Absolutely. My colleague John Delventura has, who really has said it more eloquently than I will, I think, is we may not get it right the first time, right? But we feel, most of us, I want to be careful that we haven't had a vote yet. But many of us feel very strongly that the negative impact on kind of regular cell phone, social media use kind of makes us willing to balance off kind of the fact that this is going to be challenging at first, and it's going to be challenging in the school system, and it's going to be challenging for families who have to adjust to the ability to kind of communicate midday. But the evidence is so overwhelming, really overwhelming about the negative impact on kids that we're moving forward with that
If I may,
feeling.
I worked at Amity, and we implemented it earlier this year.
Oh, great.
And my recommendation to you is get the buy-in from the teachers. Because once you have that buy-in, you get consistency in the application of the policy.
Sure.
To us has been amazing. The kids are talking to one another now. Before it would be, and I don't care about anything else that's going on. Now they're talking because there is no phones. We don't have bell-to-bell in the high school. Bell-to-bell is only in the middle schools. But in high school is instructional time. So if it's instruction, you cannot have a phone. First time, I'm going to take it. Second time, I'm going to send it to administration. Third time, your parents need to pick up the phone. So, and it's worked wonderfully well. And, even the kids, because we get surveys about how is it going well, and even the kids are saying much better.
So interesting, yeah. And to your point, that we had a technology and education advisory group last year, which was administrators, teachers, parents, a couple of students, community members involved, and they surveyed students, parents, and teachers. And one of the things that came through in the report was that teachers are looking for something consistent, that it's really hard to teach. Or one of the challenges to teaching in an environment where there's an inconsistent policy is that they're just different things are happening in different classrooms. Kids are expecting different things. They're perhaps behaving differently. So we are trying to really keep teacher feedback in mind as well.
Follow-up question. I'm definitely in favor of the self-command. I think what you said is very clear. But from a staffing perspective, which schools would be covered under this policy?
So does it go all the way down to Baldwin?
All. So
All, even elementary schools?
currently, yeah. So currently, the high school has a somewhat inconsistent policy, but it is kind of more classroom and class time focused. Baldwin is bell to bell, and elementary school, just no cell phones.
Right.
This would be a district-wide policy. So the most significant change, if in fact, and I want to be clear, we haven't voted yet, but if the current kind of draft policy is something we adopt, again, with perhaps some tweaks, the biggest change will be at the high school, because it will then cover from the morning bell to the dismissal.
Yeah, I think that's my question a different way.
Sure. Sorry if I didn't answer.
No. The elementary schools, that's already the policy in no school. So when you say you would need more staffing, like during lunch hours and times?
At the high school.
Just at the high school?
At the high school.
Okay.
Yeah, just at the high school.
You probably did say that, I didn't.
No,
Gotcha, okay.
no, totally fine.
Thank you.
Are there any needs or considerations for the Chromebook software or students using laptops? Yes, if you take away the cell phone and they just transition over to the Chromebook and play their games on there, obviously that doesn't help, but. I
actually brought that up.
Yeah.
It was one of the questions I had at our meeting early this month. I don't think we're going to have that be part of the policy yet, although again, that may come up again in discussion in December, because we are considering all the ways in which students could be accessing kind of non-educational related content during the school day. So smartphones that are connected to cell phones, et cetera. That may not, bringing in personal computers may not be something we address for January, but may be something that we continue to monitor as we roll out whatever policy we end up rolling out, and then take it from there. But it's come up, right? It's certainly come up.
Dining, we haven't really heard much about it, but then there was some, there was a report from dining services that the counts were down from last year, but it was a very good month. I guess that would have been at the time it was probably September, because these were the October minutes. Just curious how that's trending, how the dining service is trending, and regarding, not necessarily, I know it's not a moneymaker or anything like that, but.
Far.
Are we
Yeah,
losing less than more? Less than more?
There was a revision that was made to that September report. So where we thought we had a good month, it didn't end up being quite as good as we thought. So we revised September's, and that actually presented a loss for the month, which is pretty typical for September.
First month.
We have additional startup costs, and then, there's the parents still want to make your kids lunch going for a while.
Parents aren't tired yet.
Then that gets old really soon, and parents stop making lunches. Or the parents realize the kids aren't eating them, and they stop making them. So September's did have a loss. October's was a little bit better. It rebounded a little bit. It ended up being just, for the 2 months, a very small loss. So it's not as strong as last year. Last year we had free breakfast, so that definitely aided to it.
Yeah.
by the end of September, I mean, by the end of October, I think overall it's a couple $1,000 loss.
So we just keep tracking it every month and see
Yeah.
Yes.
how it trends, yeah, okay.
It also mentioned that families that qualified last year for the reduced meal, some of them didn't apply this year. Is it because their income was higher? Or do you know why they didn't apply?
I don't know for sure. I know there was people who, for whatever reason, didn't want to apply, even though that they might still qualify.
Right, okay.
And unfortunately, the earnings threshold changed so much that there are a lot of people who just aren't going to qualify
Right.
anymore.
My only other last question has to do with Cox. It seems like a lot of parents are coming out around the kindergarten classrooms. So are you thinking of changing something mid-year, or is that for next?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting some feedback, particularly around first grade. So there, because we have 4 elementary schools, it is challenging to maintain similar sized classrooms across each grade across the district. So we have, as you know, a Board of Ed policy with minimum and kind of maximum class sizes, recommendations per grade. And for kindergarten, the maximum is 20. And the parents of first graders at the school are concerned because last year their children were in some of the smallest kindergartens we've had, 13 and 14 kids, because had we combined those 3 classes to 2, they would have surpassed our kindergarten limit. As they moved into first grade, where the upper limit is 22, there's a class of 21 and there's a class of 22, so they have not surpassed that limit. But parents are concerned. We could, as a board, look at, from a policy standpoint, look at our class size recommendations again. And certainly we've had some parents ask for that. But the class sizes for the first grade in the school were 19 and 20 last year. And they've been 19 to 20 to 21 across the district at various times. So it's, I think
what they've
for,
been used to.
I don't want to I don't want to invalidate
anything.
parents' feelings.
Yeah.
To go from 13 to 21
That's
is
a
a
big
big difference. Again, all the classrooms across the district are within the limits of our recommendations. So, we could look at the recommendations again, but.
For now,
But-
I was just thinking from a financial perspective. So for now, there's.
We're
nothing
not,
that you
yeah,
can
I mean,
change.
I don't want to speak
Yeah.
for the administration, whether they would come to us with
Right.
any consideration. It's not and again, I want to be very careful to respect the experience of the parents at this moment. We have had in other years, parents come with some concerns, and we've been really careful to kind of maintain the class sizes within our limits, because there are certainly also concerns that we can't do it for one set of classes
Right.
without then doing it across the district.
My recollection is there's been similar situations in other schools within the
There
district
have
from time
been.
to time.
There have been.
Right.
There have been, absolutely.
And some of the comments that I saw the parents made, I thought I read, first of all, that a lot of the parents were really talking more about second grade when their kids move.
Well, right, so
Like,
what they're asking for.
So this
yeah.
year, okay,
Yeah,
we
it's
get it,
okay.
but next year,
gonna be throughout the-
can you make sure it's under consideration that a class is at or a teacher's at or something like that? Which of course, that's
Yeah, one
something
of
else.
the,
And
there's.
then parents, something
Right,
about.
there's been a request
Having
for
help in
a
the classroom.
para in the classroom to help. There's a request to, as you just said, go back to 3 classes for this group in second grade, which would put them back at unless there's a change in the enrollment, which there could be by a couple kids, 13 and 14 in second grade. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but that's a challenging situation for us to consider as we think about,
Like you said,
again,
yeah, it's like a precedent.
classroom
It's like
size
a precedent.
recommendations, and we have 4 elementary schools. And you know, especially those who've been on the board for quite a while, you know this, in any given year, we can have classrooms of 16 in first grade in one school and 21 in another, or in third grade. That's right, because if you combine them, you know, if you lose one class, you go over the limit. But it's a challenge, it can be a challenging situation.
Are the maximums the same for first, second, third, and fourth, or do they change?
So the maximum for kindergarten, 20, the maximum for first and second is 22, and the maximum for third and fourth is 24.
It's likely to stay. The maximum just stays. Yeah, if they stay, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, there's a sense, you know, part of that graduation of increasing upper limits is that you're expecting kids to be a little more independent. You're actually wanting them to be a little more independent, while we also recognize that it's elementary. So there's, you know, there's reasoning and rationale behind the approach, for sure.
Okay. Anything else regarding Board of Ed on any of the meetings, meeting minutes, warrants, or any of the financials? Okay, hearing nothing more. I'll entertain a motion to accept the report of expenditures for the Board of Education for October 2025 in the amount of $5,913. Sorry, let me do that again. $5,913,653.74.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions, recusals? Excellent.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sure.
Katie. Thank you, Linda.
Absolutely.
Item 6, review and approve the report of expenditures for town government for October 2025. Hello, Mary Jane.
Hello. First, I'd like to welcome the new members and just offer to call our office anytime you have any questions. Welcome to take your calls, emails, whatever. The rest of the board does anyway, so.
She's really good at answering revenue, I guess, right?
Okay, we'll start with revenue. We are 33% through the year already. Our revenues are at 53.6%, exactly where we were a year ago today. Just the only item I wanted to note was our golf course. We are way under collected at this point. I just want to remind you that the golf course was closed September, October, and most of November, I believe, so far. And just to let you know that we do have an insurance claim out, not only for the work that was done to fix the course, but also for lost revenue. So we have the potential of recouping some of that. Not a given, but we are doing our best. Selectman's office is working with the Golf Commission to put that through. So other than that, I'll take any questions you might have on revenues.
Any questions?
Financial director's doing okay.
Well, hoping to meet that $1 million.
Well, you're off to a good start.
I know. This is, you know, I always have a really good start in July, and then I start to whittle that down through December, and then January comes, you know.
Town clerk revenue's down a little bit, too.
Well, you know, it's really cyclical, you know, depending on housing sales. One time you come in with $1 million, the next it's 200,000, right? We had that conversation, I believe, in the town clerk's office one day. So it's really, you know, hard to just kind of based on that conveyance tax.
Public Works is running a little bit hot, a little bit fast, more 60% versus 48. It's not a huge amount, but
Yeah, again,
What causes that?
That's
What
the
is the
stump
difference?
dump?
Stump dump.
all depends how many trees come down, I guess.
And the fire department, is it because the fees?
Fire department revenue is based on the ambulance, so so 38% is actually pretty good for us at 33. It all depends on call volume. As you see, last year we were at 60%. As the call volume goes up, so does our revenue, and then so does our expenditures. So at the moment, we're pretty, where we anticipated being this year.
There used to be a time, but it used to be a month behind, but that's
We
not
don't
the
have
case
that problem
right?
anymore.
Right,
No.
that's, yeah.
No, that went away
This is
quite
real- it's
a
real-
while ago.
Pretty much real time.
Pretty much real time.
Yes.
You guys also agreed that we goosed the
Yes.
revenue last year
I was-
during budget season.
Yeah.
We gave them a stretch objective, and looks like they're going
Yeah,
to make.
they're meeting it.
making it right now.
They're meeting it so far. Mhm.
Right. Okay. Okay, nothing further on revenues. Go to expenditures.
All right, as far as expenditures, we're 36.5% spent so far, a little bit lower than where we were last year. Again, we've adjusted our budgets a lot this year to make up for that. A couple things I wanted to talk about, Registrar of Voters, we are at 17.8%. That includes 1 week of early voting, so all the rest of the time will be in November. Right, so the total just in salaries for all of the voting was 17.5 thousand, so 17,500. So altogether, including November that you're not seeing in here, but that was just on salaries. So that's it, and we did receive some funding from the state. I want to say about $8,000, so that'll cover some of that, specifically for early voting. Other line items, I was going to point you to fire. Fire department is making a very strong effort to keep within their budget at this point. We do have an issue with our hook and ladder truck. Vehicle maintenance is up higher, but without the purchase orders, the vehicle maintenance is only at 27%, so that's under the 33. And if you take the purchase orders out altogether, for the fire department, they're at 35%. So we've been seeing
Percentage-wise.
right.
Necessarily.
We've been making
Dollars.
slow but steady, I don't want to say improvements, changes to how the fire department is running. I'm going to talk about that later on with one of the transfers.
Is there any
Yep.
insight into replacement salaries?
Other than, like I talk about later with the
Okay.
change of administration, it does affect
Yep.
replacement salaries. Communication, I just wanted to note, is at 47%, but that is due to annual service contracts paid in July, so it will remain higher throughout the year. Debt retirement principal is overdrawn by $224,000. That's the premium credits that we use to offset our debt. So our final debt payment is in January, so shortly after that, I typically come back and we make that whole. But that's a budgetary overdraft there. Other than that, take any particular questions you might have on expenses. Everybody is pretty much where we expect them to be at this point.
Questions? It's always, like you kind of said, this is the time of year where everything's kind of just, trending along, and there might be some blips, but.
Right, most of the blips are those annual items, timing, insurance and IT and those things that we're paying up front. Even for our financial system, we pay that up front. It's a big dollar amount. It skews the percentage compared to where we are on the calendar.
I assume an example, one of those is human services? What
Well,
is-
human services, those are call them, they're like grants that we give to nonprofits.
Okay.
And so we encourage them to contact us early in the year and request that amount. So our goal is 100% expended on that one. So
Right.
that's why that one's out. Yep. Sometimes we get one lagging at the end of the year, and
Yeah.
somebody here is going to ask me.
And it's at like 96%, why isn't it 100%? Well,
Last year was at, what, 89?
Yeah,
So that's an
so
example of something like that
we
happening.
encourage them to contact us, because we know that they need that funding to manage their own budgets.
Right, okay.
So that's what that is for. No, good question.
yeah, every once in a while you'll see some that are trending that way, and that's just because they're upfront. So
Right.
human service is one of them.
That is
It's
one
a
of
good,
them.
it's a good question.
Yep, no,
Yeah.
very good question.
Anything else on expenditures? Move on to warrants. Anything under special fund warrants or weekly? Nothing caught my eye. If nothing on warrants, I think the next one would be, as I'm scrolling all the way through here, medical.
Medical. So you'll see for the month of October, we were at $959,000 in claims, and that is because we received $269,000 back in rebates for those prescription rebates that I've been talking about for all these years. So Linda, we got $269,000 in. So I've been telling you about those for like 18 months now, so we're finally seeing them come in. So that drops the claims because we're paid out in claims, so it comes as an offset to claims.
So it's a bit of a good news, bad news. Good news, get the credit. Bad news is we're still trending.
The claims themselves would have been, right,
Yeah.
$269,000 higher. So on catastrophic claims, we have $1.2 million of claims that have hit the halfway mark at 87.5, and $166,000 that have gone to the $175,000 covered by the ISL. We are up 3 members. Last month we were at 5, we're already at 8 that have hit that halfway mark, staying at 3 for the people that have hit the 175. I am showing a projected surplus at the moment of $787,000. Just remind the board that at the beginning of the year, the employees are paying their deductibles, so the amount we're paying is less, and then, the shift turns the second half of the year, and we start picking up those claims. So I'm just happy to report that the amount I'm showing you in surplus is more similar to where we were 2 years ago as opposed to last year. So the work that our committee did, as I've been saying, hopefully we've budgeted properly for this year, seems to be working so far. Anything could happen between now and June, but at the moment, I'm happy to report that we're actually showing a surplus, more than a couple $100s. So, any questions on the medical?
Do you have an update on the police? Do you know if they're going to stay? The police, I know you're in the police negotiations.
Yep, we are pretty close to a final contract with them. You're talking about insurance? What's the specific question?
Are they going to move insurance and retirement benefits, or are they going to stay?
They're not going to move either.
They're not going to move either?
No,
Okay.
I'd rather not say it.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the pool,
finalized.
my main question is the pool will be the same?
Yeah.
Yes, the pool will
Okay.
be this, we will not diminish the pool by some 40-odd members.
Okay.
That's-
Anything on medical? Anything else for the town and Mary Jane?
I have one question, Nick.
Yes.
I saw a warrant for CBIZ. How's that going with the audit? I know we've touched on it from time to time, but I didn't know.
So,
Sorry.
the audit itself is going pretty well. We did have an issue with a portion of the work for the Board of Ed, which has normally been just rolled in as part of our audit, was not specifically pinpointed in our RFP. I've been doing the RFP for how many years now? It's never been in there. So we will have an additional charge for that. We'll make sure that Linda did speak to them. So.
In ballpark?
What was it? How much was it?
$5,000.
Okay.
I apologized to Linda for not having it, I didn't even know what it was when he called, because it's something, obviously, the Board of Ed needs. It's just something that I guess we assumed is just part of a normal audit, but not necessarily.
But that's what had been given in prior RFPs to, it's not like this is a different type
Just a
of
different-
approach, but the way they
Well,
priced it was,
Right, and we used CLA all those years, so they just maybe included that as part of their fees, but it was not specifically spelled out in our RFP, and we'll make sure that happens another time. So it was hard for us really to.
For the new auditor who came in and the RFP that was, has that been, whatever the issue, that issue, has it been clarified with them in terms of?
What clarified?
no, this is the.
Well,
new
this
one.
is the clarification, they're going to charge $5,000 more.
Right, this is the.
CBiz is gonna
Oh,
charge
CBiz
more.
is the new
CBiz
one.
is charging us that because it wasn't called out in our RFP.
So their bid was based on the scope. and-
Right, so it wasn't included, and so they came back and asked the question of whether or not they needed to do this work, because it wasn't in the RFP.
It's
Oh, all
state mandated requirements.
You would,
for
yeah,
our
so you would think,
annual
why would we
report.
have to tell you to do a state mandated,
Yes, so, but
responsibility,
they were correct,
so-
it was not in the RFP that I put together, and like I said,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
one of the reasons this board moved away from CLA was because of unexpected charges.
Right.
And you had no compunction about asking them why and what they would do about it. Are we going to do the same thing to this organization who missed a state mandated portion of the report just because it wasn't in our RFP? I think what's good for the goose is good for
It's
the
good,
gander.
but, I mean, yeah, and that's where I got.
And we
confused.
ought
That's where
to
I got
ask
confused
them
with the CLA,
to
CBiz, I was
reconsider.
like, wait a minute. Whoop. But yeah, I mean, if it was the case with one, it should be the case with the other.
well, the difference is what, CLA asked for money to do something that they were being asked to do, not that we needed to do. That, when they came. I'm just,
I'm not going to argue with you.
Right, I'm just
CLA was
explaining.
Asking
Right.
for money for things they were supposed to do. This company was supposed to do this as part of the state certified audit. And they're saying that because we didn't say it in our RFP, they don't have to do it. I'm not sure that flies.
Well, it surprised me as well.
Without asking them for some consideration. That's all I'm saying, consideration.
It's a many splendid thing, there's a lot of line items here, of course, tons of them, but the question that comes to mind immediately is why didn't they point this out at the beginning?
right, yeah. Again,
Don't you guys want us to do this?
True,
Or,
right.
we do have to do this because it's mandated by the state. It should have been settled at first. I understand that it went smoothly in that one area previously, so you wouldn't kind of.
I took it as a failing on my part, is what I
You'd
took
expect
it.
them,
No,
but
that's
you'd
not
expect
it.
them to pick up on it and say, you didn't ask us for this, and you're going to need it. So it's not unfair to ask them.
And particularly since both you and Linda were part of the process of getting this. So it's not as though we all of a sudden said to them, and by the way, there's a Board of Education component to this thing, that you would expect that if they're dealing with the
Agreed.
finance director of the Board of Education, that's because we're expecting them to provide services for an audit of the Board of Education's budget.
You give them opportunities in those meetings to ask questions.
I did ask them why, when they presented to us, if they found a state mandated reporting requirement wasn't part of our RFP, why they didn't bring it to our attention. They said that they had a note in their proposal that it could be done for an added fee, but it was never discussed with us during our meeting, and he really did not have a valid, solid answer for me as to why this was never brought up on their part to us during the interviews.
Certainly ask him to attend the next meeting.
Is there,
Split the cost.
so I'm thinking professional services, thinking about all the RFPs that we respond to. And a lot of times it's, they list everything and all things that, and all items that are state mandate, required by the state of Connecticut, So we have to sit there and go, yeah, well, we may not have put a fee in there for something, but we own it because it says in the contract or says in the proposal and all. Now, that's not great to respond to when it says all, because, that's kind of a blanket, umbrella. But
Well, I guess I'd
I'm
like
just
to go
wondering,
back,
does-
though, and look at their response, because if they do have that in their response, where,
Well, I'm saying, do we have it in the RP anywhere that says, and any any and all state mandated, requirements or something
I'm
like
not
that?
sure if we
Which
have, I don't.
I don't know, but I guess.
I'd have to reread the RFP, it's like 40 pages long, but.
A lot of times we eat, listen,
Right.
as a professional service, I'm saying accounting, professional, you eat it. I mean, if you didn't specifically say it and you didn't exclude it, then that you've got to, you provide that service.
Well, I'd be willing
So-
to have a conversation with him based on your comments, and I heard somebody say split the cost, who did I hear?
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, because you got to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And so the last time, when CLA had that issue, they came in front of us. They got on the video or whatever, and they came in front of us.
Well, because we asked them,
Now,
not
what-
because they.
Well, and one
Yeah.
one time it was the night they were coming down.
They didn't invite themselves here.
It was the 11th hour that they got us.
But that, to be fair, was that they changed the scope of work.
They changed their
Right.
contract.
They changed, like, we
Right.
didn't, it wasn't, they added to a scope
Like
of
I
work.
said, I felt
Anyway.
it was something that I had missed.
But anyway, listening to what you've outlined, what Linda said, it seems like an acknowledgement would be in order to, in my view, to split this so that everybody looks at each other a little more carefully next time.
And I'll happily have a conversation
And if you'd
with them,
like-
and if it doesn't come to
Because it's not 20,000.
amicable
It's not a-
conclusion,
yeah.
I will have him come next
It's
week.
not a massive amount of
If
money.
it was a zero added to it, it'd be a big difference. But if you would like me as chairman of the Board of Finance to be on the call with you, I don't know if that's necessary, but if you'd like me to be on the call, I could be on it, but if you want to handle it, that's fine.
I don't have
As long as
any
the
problem giving
board
him
is
a
okay
call.
with that.
Let's see how that goes, and
Okay.
then we go to the next step.
That's fine. I appreciate that. It's good.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for that offer. I'd be happy to get on the line with them as well, with Mary Jane. And I was on the other side of this for a good portion of my career, and I think we have a little bit of leverage here, because there is a state statute that says if you're going to do an audit for a municipality, you have to do X to comply. And they did not identify in their response to us, well, we're going to find that out. We're going to find that out.
Maybe it was there.
So I'd be happy to be a bad guy. It's sometimes fun to play that role, and work with Mary Jane on that, so.
Yeah, I'm happy to try on my own first, just so we can have a good, keep an open conversation between you. Other than that, the audit seems to be going pretty well. I just met with them today. We had few more questions. They're working through a draft right now. It's a little bit, we're only a couple weeks behind where we've been in the past, so it's really not taking that much longer. I'm going to be on vacation. I told him, I would respond to him over vacation if there were some questions or whatever. I don't want to hold anything up. But, other than that, it seems to be going well. When they've had large requests, I've asked them to come to our office to review documents. They've had no problem. They've come from the office in Hartford, and Kyle came from Providence. So from our standpoint, Linda may have other comments, but from our standpoint, my staff, we really haven't had there's been no significant changes or, odd requests or issues. They've been very very easy to work with.
That's good news.
That's why I don't mind having a conversation with them about them.
Good.
You know, it's not like last time.
Got it.
Yet, no, hopefully not.
No animosity.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nor that, being first year too, nor do they want that.
No, they don't want that.
So, okay. Anything, on the audit, is it next, do we receive it next month or January?
January or sometimes I bring it February,
It's after-
depending on.
After the first of the year?
Yeah, we file by December 31st.
Right, okay.
And then we'll see. It depends how busy your agendas are, because it does take quite a while. So
Yeah.
we kind of play that by ear, but it'd definitely be after the
Right.
first of the year.
Right, January is usually the good one because February is the budget, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay, very good.
We'll see.
Anything else for Mary Jane and the town? Okay, hearing none. Entertain motion to approve the report of expenditures for town government for October 2025 in the amount of $3,205,933.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Great, thank you. I'm sure you'll stay up here for 7. Discuss and take possible action on transfers. So 7.1, consider and take possible action to transfer $80,048 from reserve for personnel.
We finalized the Guilford Supervisors Association contract for the new members. When we have contracts that are expiring and we do not have final numbers for the budget, we put money into an account called Reserve for Personnel. It's right in our budget. And then once we finalize those contracts, then we come back to the boards of selectmen and the Board of Finance and request that the funding be transferred from Reserve from Personnel into those line items. And I like to do those before we start our budget, because then that becomes our budget that we're going to compare to when we do 2027. So this is the GSA. It does total to $80,048. You see all the line items outlined here. This would be shows where we currently stand with their budget, what the revised is, and what to change. And I'd just like to note that we do have a couple more contracts outstanding, whether or not we mentioned the police. So we would hope to come no later than next month with some final changes before we start the budget rounds, but I just have to wait for them to be done. I can't come any earlier.
How many are outstanding besides the police?
We have the police, we have CNSU, I think, and I think we have at least one personal contract outstanding. So.
What does that leave in reserve?
According to this piece of paper, $253,719. So doing well. Should be sufficient for what's left, correct? Oh, depends on what the police got, I don't know. But I will note, again, for the new members, we do, when we don't use these funds in one year, we typically move them into our fund balance committed for this purpose. So say one of these contracts does not finalize and this money is still there, we'll set it aside, put it in our committed fund balance, and then in 27 or whenever that contract is finalized, we'll move it from there. So there is funding set aside in one other place to cover these. We try to cover our bases so that at least the taxpayers are voting on a budget that tries to include what we anticipate might be those increases. So, but we do have some other funding, and we'll see what we do.
Okay. Any questions regarding the transfer?
Once those contracts that you mentioned are completed, does that number lock in for the rest of the fiscal year, or does that change?
It locks in. The only changes might be if somebody gets a promotion, like within the police department, if they move from a patrol to a, but other than that, any changes would have to go through a process. And it can. We have had mid-year adjustments with our contracts that would go through the process again, and there might be another change. It could be one employee in that group, it could be all the employees in that group. But in general, once that contract is ratified, that's it for 1, 2, 3 years, however that contract is, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
May I ask?
Yes.
The police contract is not finalized, right?
These are employees that are civilian employees.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question.
No guns.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to transfer $80,048 from fiscal year 26 reserve for personnel into the salary line items indicated in the November 17th, 2025 memo from the finance director.
Second.
Well, technically, that was an
Oh,
entertaining, so.
sorry.
Moved.
Sorry.
It's just,
I'll second.
Yeah.
okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Okay, 7.2, consider and take possible action to transfer $52,197 to fire department full-time salaries.
Okay,
Mary Jane.
so I'm going to give you an overview, and then I'm going to let the first selectman
Sure.
talk a little bit about this. So, as I mentioned, the fire department and the chief is implementing changes to how the department is run. He's made some leadership changes and taking two people to become assistant fire chiefs with different job descriptions, but crossover, so they can both do, either job. What this has done was taken employees that were working overtime to do certain job functions that will now be part of their job description.
So no overtime.
So it's removing the overtime and replacements for them. So this $52,000 is taking money from the replacement overtime, and the part-time salary is something with the fire marshal, assistant fire marshal?
They're building the job.
Yeah, that's what the part-time, there's a change in the fire marshal duties, and so that amount from the part-time salaries is being moved. So this is step one in a series of phases that the fire department is going through for leadership changes, both on the full-time and the volunteer staffing. I don't know if you want to add.
This is the manifestation of our new chief, Mike Shove, who has had some indication that he might be in this role for some time, and this is the first major restructuring of the organization since it was created 25 years ago. And as Mary Jane just said, the staffing command and the staffing component and the command modules have changed. We now have two deputies or assistant chiefs, and as Mary Jane just mentioned, it is revenue neutral in terms of cost of the department, despite the fact that we're adding another body, okay? The replacement salaries are the consistent driver. You guys have heard this for years. The two individuals who are currently in lieutenant positions are moving up, and they're taking those administrative responsibilities with them, so they are now, they're salaried employees. They are no longer entitled to that. And one of the things that needs to be said is, and that's a great personal sacrifice to them and their families, because this is a career opportunity for both of those gentlemen, and most likely that they're in line to replace the current chief or get a chief's job somewhere else. But more importantly, it also creates some upward mobility within the organization, because now there are two other positions that need to be filled, plus the new position that we just talked about. So.
Do you have to take a test the same as the police for promotion?
No, we do
No.
not have civil
Okay.
service testing. We do not have that.
Okay.
This was this was done via interview process by the Board of Fire Commissioners, and it's my understanding that there were 4 individuals who interviewed for these 2 positions. I asked the question naturally, Those who didn't get it, are they going to be looking elsewhere or not? And the answer to me was, no, they did it as an exercise towards their own development and future opportunities to interview in those lines. So, again, this is the first major reorganization of the fire department since the department was created some time ago.
Further questions? So this is really just a reallocation of responsibilities.
It's written, but
From those,
but also, please notice, there is an additional position in there, but it is cost neutral, save for the benefit cost.
Right, so, correct, we are just moving money within
Yes,
the department, but again, we are making those particular salary lines where they should be.
Right.
Specifically, it's easy for us to know the full-time salaries, because that's just all the guys, their basic, 40-hour a week or whatever, so we like to at least keep, that's the one we can pinpoint every dollar and who it is and how much. Replacements and overtime, for us, as you know, is an estimate, but that full-time salaries is, it's specific
Stable versus
amount.
dynamic.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we like to keep, the same way we'd made these changes for this contract, we're doing that for the fire department, so that when they present their budget, now these positions are there. Granted, it's not necessarily going to be apples to apples, only because they just started this position, so this budget represents a portion of a year, not a full 52 weeks, but at least when you're doing the budget next time, it'll be more, it'll be closer than it is today. Yes, so that's why we're here.
We've been after them for years to talk to us about the extraordinary amount of replacement salaries, and would that necessitate additional staff?
Oh, we knew you'd ask that. We knew you would say that.
So we're beginning to see it, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Okay, I'm done talking.
Great, thank you. Any further questions regarding 7.2? Yep. I will entertain a motion to transfer $52,197 from fiscal year 26 budget lines, 51,800, 51,200, and 51,100 to 5,100. 51,000. You'll get the numbers right, I'm sure. Full-time salaries per the finance director's memo dated.
Numbers are on the memo, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in the memo.
So moved.
Okay, great.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Item number 8, consider and take possible action on Board of Finance meeting calendar for 2026. One of the schedules is the budget preparation schedule. We do not have to vote on that. That is just basically for our knowledge, so you can plug in all the important dates that deal with the Board of Finance in our meetings. I think it would be wise, because we have a couple of new members, just to point out a couple of those. I'm going to mention the December meeting that we have the Board of Education shortly. It's not on here. The key dates that you want to be aware of: January 14th and 15th, the Board of Selectmen workshops. That's where the town departments present the budget requests. Those are probably just as important as the presentations that you will hear at our regular meeting in February. The regular Board of Finance meeting, that's where the Board of Selectmen and Board of Education will present their budgets and bonding requests to us. In between that, I would be remiss in not mentioning the Board of Education public hearings. Why am I not?
Those are January.
Yeah, they're in January. Why am I not seeing them on here?
It should be January
20. Aren't they like
27?
Those are, they're not required, but they're important to at least, if you can't attend in person, get the.
I think it's the 27th and 28th from
Yes.
your minutes.
Yeah. I remember seeing them, but they're not on here, so it's okay. 27, 28?
Or 27.
They're the public hearings.
26, 27.
26, 27.
They should be
okay.
the Monday and Tuesday.
Yep.
Do you have times for those? They should be 7:30.
7:30, right?
And they should be they're typically in the high school.
They're in the operations minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
operations for Board of Education, yeah. Okay. 7:30. Yeah. The key dates, March 3rd, March 5th, those are the public hearings, Board of Finance public hearings on the budgets, and workshop number 1. That's a Tuesday and a Thursday. Those two probably, as I tell people, are the two most important meetings you'll probably go to for the Board of Finance all year. I would keep March 9th, the workshop number 2, open. I've had it happen before where I've scheduled something going away, and turns out that there was a snowstorm. Workshop number 2 was always, well, if you can't agree on workshop number 1, you come back on workshop 2. I figured, oh, we've agreed for years, and then there was a snowstorm, and it got pushed to that Monday, and I was away in that. So keep the 3rd through the 9th open, don't go on vacation. That's my recommendation. And then after that, then we have our Board of Finance meeting that's adopt the bond resolutions on March 16th. That's at our regular meeting. The budget meeting is on April 7th, and the referendum's on April 21st. So just going through those for everybody as far as you can. What's that?
The meetings that we meet with the Board of Ed before our meetings.
Yes, I'm going to be coming up. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're not on here, but I'm going to be bringing that up in a second.
Cool.
The Board of Finance, okay, so those are the budget prep dates. Board of Finance 2026 meeting schedule. As is typical, the January and February meetings are usually not the 3rd Thursdays. Once in a while it'll fall in February, but January, I'm sorry, I say 3rd Mondays. Sorry, I'm looking at Tuesday and Thursday. So Martin Luther King usually is falling on the 3rd Monday. So that will be Tuesday, January 20th. And then the February 12th date is on a Thursday because that has to adhere to the budget charter, the town charter for the budget. Everything else would be on the 3rd Monday. And you can see, again, budget meetings, you could see the key dates down below. Any questions on any of those? Otherwise, we need to make sure we vote tonight on the meeting schedule for 2026. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? I didn't think so. Okay, great. Item number 9, committee reports. Any committee reports? I don't believe there's any committees outstanding right now. Item number 10, old business. Anybody have any old business? Okay. Item number 11, new business. I had 2 items. I'll bring up the meetings that we were just talking about. So, December at 6:30 before our regular meeting, that would be on December 20, what's the 3rd?
December 15th.
Is it 15th?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so December 15th at 6:30. The Board of Finance meets with the Board of Education to have a high-level discussion about the budget. There will be no real details. It'll be just a discussion about where things are trending. Then we will have our regular meeting. And then January at our regular meeting on the 20th, Tuesday, we will meet at 6 o'clock that night to receive, at that point, we will have already received the budget from the Board of from the superintendent.
Superintendent, that's right, it'll be the
Yes,
superintendent's
I always say that, the Board of Ed, no, it is not the Board of Ed budget, it's the superintendent's budget, which we will discuss from 6 to about 7:20 or so. So just be sure you're here early to have those discussions. And they will be here, and we'll leave from those meetings right to this room. Any questions on that? Going to have one item of new business, one more, and then Matt.
I do have a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead. If
Only
it's-
because
Yeah.
our good friend and longtime member of this board would have asked the question. Yom Kippur starts on sunset September 20th and ends at nightfall on September 21st. We traditionally never held a Board of Finance meeting on Yom Kippur. So I know you've already approved it, and I was I said, oh shit, excuse me. I said, that's in the high holiday season, and not the least of which is, I would like the night off because would be my 31st wedding anniversary.
Oh, I see.
Okay, we missed that.
Now, and quite honestly, nightfall in September 21st, might interfere with the start of your meeting. And so it might preclude anyone who wanted to participate in this meeting from participating. So you might want to consider an
Had
adjustment.
no idea we could, so although we approved the schedule, we could always.
You can always change it.
Adjust it and amend it. I'd rather not forget, this is one of those things that, we'll deal with it later and then so maybe we can make, I guess we can make
Later,
it.
it's a special meeting, I'm just going to tell you. So, makes it a special meeting if you change it later on.
Let's just do it now.
Okay, we'll do it later.
If you do it
I'm
today-
sorry, we'll do it, no, we'll do it
If you
now.
do it now, it's a regular meeting. If you do it later, it's a special meeting.
So we could, so
Let's just amend.
September.
let's amend that schedule to have the Board of Finance regular meeting on Tuesday, September 22nd.
7:30?
I'll put that in the form of a motion just to keep things moving. Do I hear a second?
Amy did it.
So moved. Okay, so Amy and whoever.
Second.
Second for Megan, okay. Are there any other changes, any other issues that, I think we covered them now. All right, I'll call the question. No, I won't call the question, I'll hold, yes. Yes.
You said that the reason it was Tuesday, the 20th, is because Martin Luther King, right?
Correct.
Why don't we make it a Monday, the 26th, instead of Tuesday, the 27th?
Because typically we've just always moved it to the Tuesday. Yeah. No other reason than that's just the way we've always done it, which is sometimes not the answer someone wants to hear, but on that one, that's why we do it.
Okay.
The February meeting, there's absolutely, that is completely dictated by the town charter. So we do have the option January, we don't on February. So, but thank you for that question. It is a good question. Okay, anything further? Otherwise, I will now call the question for the amended date in September. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Much appreciated.
Sorry I didn't catch it, sorry.
No.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
So we don't forget when September comes around.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one other item under new business. I just wanted to mention to everybody, actually more to the viewing audience, that the Board of Selectmen held their capital budget plan workshop on, I wrote the date down because I knew I'd forget, November 13th. Many of the members of the Board of Finance around this table attended. I guess what I will say is, and if anybody wants to elaborate, they can, there's many millions of dollars of capital projects that have been requested for next year's referendum. Just a brief reminder that it's a 2-year request. Next year, we're on that two-year cycle. The town and the Board of Selectmen are on a 2-year cycle. And that will be coming up in referendum. And
Just note that out of those many millions, we have some large projects that would be standalone projects, not necessarily coming as bonding authorizations through our regular process. I'm sorry, I should have let you finish.
It's okay. It's okay, because I love it when it's reiterated. So I had written, though, there's a lot of hard decisions that are going to need to be made, as there always are. But there's a lot of those capital projects that are either will not have to go to bonding based on either federal or state grants, or also committed fund balances that will take care of some of those that were purposely set aside to be able to take care of some of these capital investments that we want to make. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that, but we did have that meeting, and if anybody thinks the budget process isn't starting or hasn't started yet, oh, we're getting in the thick of it. So, okay. If nothing further, anything else under new business? If nothing, then I'll go to public forum. Nobody? Item number 12.
The move we adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Oh, happy Thanksgiving.